Saudi Arabia.
Wednesday, October 8, 2025. I'm Nika Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us. A 48-hour curfew is now in effect in central Kingston after 6 people were shot, 2 fatally, in a drive-by shooting Tuesday night. It's the second mass shooting in 2 days following Sunday's massacre in Commodore District, St. Catherine. Crystal Williams has the details.
When the soldiers them the year people send them street till their light with them door open.
Residents of Text Lane calling for a zone of special operation checkpoint in their community following a mass shooting Tuesday night. 6 victims, 2 adults, 2 young children and 2 teenagers, one of them living with a disability.
So the disabled youth, the one who get shot was disabled. My 16-year-old.
Yeah, him sit down here. So
him sit down right on the step right.
Cousin, yeah, and him little cousin, she get shot too in her fear and me one of the 6-year-old them.
So the 6-year-old put up her hand?
Yeah.
When she see him, when they see the boy, make sure the boy point the gun for the 6-year-old?
The dog, we are back off of them.
Yeah.
The shooting happened in the vicinity of Text Lane and Charles Street in Rose Gardens, central Kingston. Superintendent Beresford Williams is the commanding officer for the police division.
A car drove up along Text Lane. Men from that car opened fire and a group of persons were standing and sitting in the space, then drove off. After the shooting, it was discovered that 6 persons were shot, to include 2 teenagers, 2 children, 9 years old, and 2 adults.
The shooting has left residents of Text Lane fearful.
Normally the place would have said dead like on me.
No. There's people outside.
I know why never in the area.
No.
A few of the younger victims were reportedly sitting here when the drive-by happened.
She look up at me. And a young lady. And with them alone, they there.
And when you say there, so which part?
Right at the step.
Right on the step,
and
right
the
there.
chair, they say.
And what?
Chair to the right, they say. And I mean, also when nobody come out, I'm penny my food. I will me the shot them know me running.
Even this community dog was targeted. It's why residents are demanding a zone of special operation checkpoint in their community.
If the soldiers them were here like before, right? Everything will be good. From the people them said they don't want the soldier them. That's why the thing be like this.
Crystal Williams reporting for CVM News.
And as mentioned earlier, the Central Kingston Police are reporting that a 48-hour curfew is now in effect for the entire police division. Commanding officer for the division, Superintendent Beresford Williams, told our news centre a short while ago that the curfew began just over an hour ago at 6 o'clock. It will last until 6 p.m. on Friday. Police in St. Mary are investigating the circumstances surrounding the shooting death of 17-year-old Raheem Smith in Cricket River, Anoto Bay on Tuesday night. Reports are that shortly after 10 p.m., Smith was attacked and shot multiple times by unknown assailants. He was later pronounced dead. In the meantime, opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, has launched a scathing criticism of the health ministry in the wake of the Integrity Commission's report, highlighting concerns about accountability and transparency within the ministry. This in relation to conflict of interest concerns in the awarding of nearly $80 million in contract from the ministry to marketing firm Market Me Consulting. Dr. Dawes was speaking on CVM's Lead Story Prime on Tuesday.
A damning report from the Integrity Commission has cast a shadow over the Ministry of Health and Wellness, raising serious questions about transparency, accountability, and the handling of key government contracts. The report, which investigated incidents that happened between 2016 and 2020, was tabled in Parliament on Tuesday, uncovering procurement irregularities and potential conflict of interest in relation to millions of dollars worth of contracts from the ministry to marketing firm Market Me. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton and co-managing director of Market Me, Lindsay McDonough, Jamaica, according to the commission, are believed to be friends and didn't disclose their friendship when the company received the contracts. In a statement, Dr. Tufton said, quote, "This matter has remained in the public domain for several years and at times has cast unfair doubt not only on my integrity but also on the reputations of others involved. I regret any hurt or reputational damage that may have resulted from the prolonged public scrutiny. I am, however, pleased that the IC has reported no illegality by any party involved." End quote.
What he is doing there is to put at the focus of the debate legality versus illegality, and that was not what the report brought out. There are a lot of red flags concerning the breaches that were found. And this is far from clearing the minister as he has claimed, because even though we may not meet the threshold for prosecution, there are clear procedural guidelines, there are clear ethical considerations.
Now, hours after Dr. Tufton's statement was released, Market Me, in its own statement, said, quote, "The report confirms what we have always known, that our work stands on integrity, professionalism, purpose, and excellent value for money." End quote. Now, the revelation from the Integrity Commission has ignited backlash and renewed calls for oversight. Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, is among those leading the charge, taking aim at the health minister over what he describes as a crisis of credibility.
The other thing is that 2 contracts valued of just about $53 million were never reported to the Integrity Commission under the quarterly contracts awards review. Once you have certain awards past a certain dollar figure, you should report it to the Integrity Commission so that they can look into it to see if all is well. That was not done on 2 occasions, the 2 largest contracts. And the response is that nobody knows how such an oversight happened. And we find that pattern as well at the Ministry of Health, where it's like a free-for-all with taxpayer dollars.
Dr. Dawes went further.
This IC report has come out where they're saying that they're going to strengthen their rules and guidelines and training officers because they have been doing it without any repercussion. And we have to find a way as a country to hold them accountable.
Amoy Harriet reporting for CVM News.
There's a push this evening for the government to review Jamaica's staff orders to allow some public sector workers to run in politics. This follows the recent interdiction of Dr. O.J. Dixon, a senior hospital resident who was sanctioned by the Southern Regional Health Authority after running in the September 3 general election. Amoy Harriet reports.
Jamaica's public service is largely modeled by the Westminster and Whitehall system, which was inherited from the United Kingdom. Now, these models are built on political neutrality, where public servants are expected to remain impartial and steer clear of politics. But unlike the UK, where some categories of civil servants are allowed to participate in politics, Jamaica's rules impose a blanket ban across the public sector. Now, questions are being raised about whether it's time for reform.
How does the role of a doctor impacts, how does him carry no political activity impacts his role as a doctor?
Anil Grant is former president of the Jamaica Civil Service Association. He was referring to Dr. O.J. Dixon, a medical doctor who was interdicted by the Southern Regional Health Authority for contesting last month's general election.
Does it have that same nexus as somebody else who's a decision maker? And should we, have a different standard applied to persons who are decision makers, who want to participate in political activity versus technocrats who are not decision makers? They are just delivering services. Should there be a different standard in treating with them? And I think that is where we have now reached.
Speaking on a CVM's Lead Story Prime on Tuesday, Mr. Grant also took issue with what he described as the mishandling of interdictions in the public sector.
Interdiction and weight is being dealt with is a punishment before the punishment. He has not been found guilty. He has been charged, yes, of participating and breaching the staff orders. Right. And so that is now to be dealt with through the disciplinary process. But until that is dealt with, he's losing pay.
Attorney at law and principal consultant at Employment Matters Caribbean, Carla Ann Harris Roper, agrees.
I think we need to address the fact that we do have our Charter of Rights, which has amended our Constitution, and there are issues that need to be tested.
Of note, there are different categories of public servants.
When you talk about public officers, you're talking about those who are under the Civil Service Establishment Act, roles that are created out of the Constitution and governed by the public service regulations.
In the meantime, the government and opposition are trading jabs, each accusing the other of hypocrisy in handling issues linked to the staff orders.
In relation to Rhoda Crawford, for example, the People's National Party never actually took that matter to court. But more importantly, there was never any action taken by the government.
I believe Rhoda was on a program. I think it may have been a program on radio where she signaled
still working with the government as a public sector worker. You never applied that same staff order to her.
So Rhoda, you have to put that question and that issue to Rhoda's employer. The officers she enumerated just now are persons who would have been employed to respective agencies. Yes, in the case of Robert Morgan, he would have been employed, as I said earlier, to the office of the Prime Minister. Those persons had essentially signaled an interest in contesting seats. They did not go the route of... They did not go the route of... No.
Amoy Harriet reporting for CVM News.
CVM News at 7 continues in just a moment.